DC Dynamic Duo, take one, Mark. Welcome back, everybody, to this updated DC Studios movie news video. Welcome if you're new here. Hello. If you're returning, welcome back. We're going to be taking a look at all the DC news that happened over the last week. We're going to kind of recap it, and I'll give you my thoughts about it. We got Batman news. We got Dynamic Duo, right? Our new Robin animated film with some really cool things that I found out that you're going to want to stick around for. We have Robert Pattinson. Is he the new DCU's Batman? We're going to speculate on that. We have a Bane and Deathstroke movie happening, and we also have the cast of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern for the Lantern series coming to HBO Max next year. There's a ton of stuff to dive into and talk about, so without further ado, let's get right into it. It says, animated Robin origin story, Dynamic Duo, set as DC Studios, featuring Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Now, normally, the Dynamic Duo, right, is Batman and Robin, but they're switching it up a little bit here with Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, which are the two Robins, right, that we kind of know. There are more Robins, obviously, but the big Robins that we know are Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. So it seems like it's going to be an origin story for the two of them. Let's continue to read the article. DC Studios is getting together the Dynamic Duo, just not the one you might expect. Ahead of the debut of DC's animated Max series Creature Commandos, the studio is mounting its first animated feature project, Dynamic Duo, with Warner Bros. Pictures Animation. But rather than focusing on Batman and Robin, the film will serve as an origin story for Robin and Robin, aka Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Matthew Aldrich, who wrote Coco and Lightyear. Coco I enjoyed very much. Lightyear I did not enjoy. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of those movies, but I think that's 50-50 for me right there. He's writing the film, which will be produced by Matt Reeves. We love that. Having Matt Reeves involved in your project is always a good thing. His production company, 6th and Idaho, but the story will be separate from Reeves' ongoing Gothamverse with the Batman and the Penguin. So obviously but again, is this an Elseworlds thing? Or is this in the DCU? Is Matt Reeves making and producing a thing for the DCU? Or is this something completely separate? We'll get into that a little bit. I got something to show you guys that I think might signal that it's not in the DCU. Let's see. It says, it will depict how the friendship between Jason, Grayson, and Todd as youths becomes tested by their diverging ideas for what their future should be. Reports that the characters will begin as a pair of thieves in the film were false. I didn't know that, but there you go. In the DC comics, after their respective stints as Batman's sidekick Robin, Dick becomes the superhero Nightwing, while Jason transforms into the violent vigilante Red Hood. The animation will be handled by New Orleans-based Swaybox. It's the animation studio. Swaybox has pioneered an innovative approach to puppetry that's a hybrid of live action, motion capture, stop motion animation, and CGI animation. This stuff is wild. I'm gonna pull it up as we're talking about it. I'll have it pulled up now. And this stuff looks cool, man. Here's the thing. I was not expecting this. I was like, okay, an animated film, like that sounds cool. But then when you see what Swaybox can do, like when you actually watch the Swaybox animation, you're like, it took me off guard. I was like, whoa, wow, this is gonna be interesting. I don't quite know if I dig it or not. Like, it's cool. It's an artistic vision, right? It's very pretty animation, but it's just not what I was expecting. So I don't really know how I feel. Let me know in the comments down below. How do you feel about Swaybox making this movie? And here's the thing, Swaybox, if it's done by Swaybox, I just don't think it's going to be the DCU. I think it's gonna be another Elseworlds thing. I really don't think. And by Elseworlds, I mean Matt Reeves, the Batman and the Penguin. That's all Elseworlds. So I don't know. This Swaybox thing just signals in my brain that this is going to be very different. Here's my thoughts. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think this is cool. It's a fun way to introduce these two heroes to the modern audience, right? People who may not be comic book readers. I think this is a great way to kind of tell their stories, right? Both Nightwing and Jason Todd, or Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. It's a nice kind of refresher before we see them pop up in the DCU. So, and it's fun. And James Gunn has also told us that he's going to bring in creators with visions, right? And different outlooks. And he's really going to let the filmmakers make the stuff that they want to make. And so, I mean, this went from something that I was like, okay, like how many DC animated projects have we had? We've had a lot. And I don't know. But then when I saw the Swaybox animation, I was like, sign me up, man. Sign me up. Sign me up. This looks awesome. I'm just intrigued. I wonder what it's going to look like, how it's going to, I still have my reservations. I'm like, okay. I mean, it could turn out to be a train wreck, to be honest. I mean, it could just be awful. I have no idea. I got no clue, man. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Since you've seen the Swaybox animation, since, obviously Jason Todd and Nightwing are very beloved characters. So how do you feel about Swaybox and these producers and writers taking a stab at a dynamic duo origin film? And they're both gonna have, it says they're both friends, which also doesn't make any sense because they're two different Robins at two different time periods, but they're gonna be friends in the beginning and they're gonna be thieves. I don't know. I don't know how much reworking they're going to do, how much rewriting they're going to do, how much Elseworld this is actually going to be. I'm very curious. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this topic. We have a report that David Zaslav, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers, wants more The Batman content to be pumped out, right? To kind of compete with Avengers and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, The Batman is a huge success. Everybody's loving the Penguin right now. So Zaslav wants more Batman. And apparently, he wants Robert Pattinson's Batman to be in the DCU with David Cornswith's Superman. Let's read the article. The Batman Robert Pattinson could become DCU's Dark Knight, and David Zaslav pushes for more Batman. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is reportedly piling on the pressure for DC Studios to do something with Batman that could lead to Robert Pattinson's Cape Crusader eventually joining the DCU. DC Studios is creating a new shared world meant to rival the MCU. But it sounds like Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav's patience may have already be wearing thin. They've always known the timeline. I don't know how I understand this, if I understand this right, because we've always known the timeline. This isn't like James Gunn has always said, like, all right, we're making this movie and then we're making this movie, and then it all got greenlit. So it's not like David Zaslav is like, where is the movie? Like, the movies are being made. The films are being written. Supergirl's being written, right? Like, Superman just finished post-production. So I'm kind of confused. If anything, you would think that he would be mad at Matt Reeves or pushing Matt Reeves to get his thing done quicker. But it seems like he's, from this article's perspective, he's pressuring James Gunn. That seems kind of strange. Last year's strikes saw James Gunn and Peter Safran forced to down tools on several upcoming DCU movies and TV shows. While Creature Commandos is nearly here and Superman is in post-production for a summer 2025 release, there is still a long way to go until DC Studios can find even a measure of Marvel Studios' success. Batman remains DC's biggest draw, even as a show without him. The Penguin is a ratings hit, but with The Batman Part 2 not heading our way until 2026, ouch, I added that ouch, what of DC Studios' The Brave and the Bold? According to Hollywood insider Jeff Snyder, Zaslav wants the DCU's Batman on our screens sooner rather than later, to better compare with Marvel Studios. One idea that's been mooted is for the Robert Pattinson star, or the Batman Robert Pattinson star, to become the DCU's Dark Knight following the sequel's release. All right, how do we feel about this one? This is going to be very divisive, I think. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this. Keep these two universes separate. Let James Gunn do what he's going to do, and let Matt Reeves do what Matt Reeves is going to do. That's kind of what we set up in the very beginning. And I don't understand why we're trying to, I mean, I understand from a money perspective. I understand for somebody who's not a creative and who just wants money. I get it. And you're thinking, oh, let's just get it all together. Just get the money now. But that's not what Matt Reeves was under. You know, it's not the negotiation. It's not the contracts. It's not what each party wants to do. And I think David Zaslav just needs to chill a little bit. I know they're hurting for money, and I know, success is few and far between, and you don't really know if the Superman movie is going to take off. We don't know if that's going to be a hit yet. We have no idea. But Batman is a guaranteed hit. So I understand why he wants to meld them together, but I just don't think it's a good idea. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think that Robert Pattinson should join the DCU? Let me know what you think. I don't think it's a good idea. Keep them separate. Let Matt Reeves do his thing. All right, on to some casting news now. Kyle Chandler to join Green Lantern's Lantern series. Emmy winner Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights' Wolf of Wall Street is set to play legendary Green Lantern Corps member Hal Jordan in HBO DCU's comic-based Lanterns series. Boasting a gritty, true detective-esque tone, the film focuses on, which it's not a film, it's a TV show, which they just mentioned up here. They mentioned it as a series, so I don't know why they're calling it why are they calling it a film? I don't quite know. But anyways, the show focuses on Jordan reluctantly mentoring a younger Lantern, John Stewart, obviously, as the pair are on Earth investigating a murder with larger implications. James Gunn has said in the past that whatever the Lanterns are going to be investigating in the Lantern show has a bigger, it's kind of the first discovery of the bigger threat that he's building for the DCU. So this is kind of a very big show that is going to introduce kind of the main antagonistic force, I think, for the overarching Phase 1 Gods and Monsters of the DCU. Producers are reportedly looking for a young and fresh-faced actor for Jon Stewart's role to play opposite Chandler. DC initially was in talks with Josh Brolin, who ultimately passed. Instead, they've opted for Chandler, who is well known, but mostly for his work in TV, which I think he's a pretty cool choice. He's not necessarily somebody that I would have thought of, but when you think about it and you're like, oh, Kyle Chandler, like, okay, like that's cool. Like I think he's a great TV actor. I don't know how he's going to translate to the movies necessarily, but he's done movies before in the past, so I can see it happening. You never know. You never know. You never know. You don't know. You have no idea. But I like this casting. I like the casting of Kyle Chandler. The project aims to shoot from next January to June in Atlanta. All right, yeah. So this production is gearing up right away, right? This shoot is right around the corner, so we're gonna get a lot more casting announcements probably in the next month or two. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's go time almost on this show. So they're gonna want to start rolling cameras, like they said, in January. So I don't know. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be, especially like this true detective tone, right, that they're going with. It's going to be a very like murder mystery, but with the Lanterns. I think it's cool. I think the casting is cool. I like the choice of Kyle Chandler to play an older Hal Jordan. I'm a little mixed on kind of our legacy, our big characters being older. It seems like they're doing that, and they want Batman to be older as well, which I'm kind of like, okay, I guess. Like it's going to be a more seasoned Batman, probably not too old. I'm guessing like late 30s, early 40s probably with Batman, probably late 30s, I would assume. So it's kind of cool. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited for the Lantern show, or do you just not care for the Lanterns? Are you excited for Kyle Chandler to be Hal Jordan in the DCU? Let me know. Batman villains Bane and Deathstroke getting movie treatment at DC Studios? DC will be doing some back-breaking development work in bringing these criminals to the big screen. With a big-budget Joker movie just weeks away and a Penguin HBO series freshly unveiled, a few other DC villains are being targeted for the spotlight. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that Bane, the super steroid-injected antagonist, who was previously seen in 2012 Christopher Nolan's movie The Dark Knight Rises, and Deathstroke, another popular arch-nemesis in the comic book company's fold, are being lassoed together for a movie. The James Gunn and Peter Safran-led DC Studios is developing a script from Matthew Orton, a scribe on the upcoming Captain America Brave New World movie. Interesting. There is no director on the project. Bane is a relatively recent addition to Batman's Rogues Gallery. I don't know about that. That seems that's an odd line there. I don't necessarily agree with that. Bane's been around for a long time, considering, you know what I'm saying? With writer Chuck Dixon and artist Graham Nolan creating him in the early 1990s. Yeah, I think Bane's been around for a long time now. I mean, that's dating me. That makes me feel old. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was, but we have to kind of admit that was kind of a while ago now. The character was born and raised in a prison on a fictional Caribbean isle, a locale that not only allowed him to hone his brute fighting skills, but also absorb the techniques and teachings from all manner of international criminals. He later was the subject of a horrific steroidal test, an experiment that left him incredibly strong, but also addicted to serums. Yeah, Bane's that dude, man. Be afraid. The character made his mark in an epic storyline entitled Nightfall, in which he brutally broke Batman's back, a story that catapulted him to the upper rankings of Bat villains. The character has appeared in numerous video games and TV series, and notably portrayed by muffled Tom Hardy in the final installment of Nolan's Batman trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. Deathstroke was first introduced in 1980 to be a top-tier villain for the Teen Titans, but the super-enhanced Master Assassin grew to become one of DC's most popular bad guys, squaring off against Batman and the Justice League, and headlining his own comic titles several times. The character, created by writer Marv Wolfman and artist George Perez, has popped up in video games and animated fare. I cannot pronounce this name. Played the character in the recent live-action Titans series, while Joe Manganiello cameoed as the One-Eyed Killer in some of Zack Snyder's DC movies. At one point, he was going to be the villain of The Batman, back when Ben Affleck was directing and starring. At another point, he was attached to star in a Deathstroke movie from the Raid director, Gareth Evans. DC and Warner Brothers have found considerable success in highlighting villains on the feature side. Most prominent of this example is Joker, with filmmaker Todd Phillips' unique take on the Clown Prince of Crime propelling the movie to $1 billion box office and Oscar gold for actor Joaquin Phoenix and composer, I don't even know that composer's name. I'm so sorry. The sequel, Joker, Folie à Deux, premiered at the Venice Film Festival and opens October 4th. Colin Farrell is starring as the Penguin in a spin-off by Matt Reeves' 2022 film, The Batman. The 8-episode series has garnered strong reviews as it debuted September 19th on HBO. Alright, so how do you guys feel about a DC movie, right? A feature film with Bane and Deathstroke? How's that going to work? Batman has to be involved in that, right? Are you going to introduce the DCU Batman in the Brave and Bold movie? Or are you going to introduce, depending on, I guess, how fast these projects come off the ground and how fast they get written, are they going to do the Bane and Deathstroke movie first? Or are they going to do the Brave and the Bold movie first? It seems like they're being developed at the same time. So I guess whatever film gets final say, right? Whatever film gets to that final script stage first and gets the green light will go ahead and be made. I don't know. I would assume that these guys would be in the DCU and that you would have the DCU's Batman in this movie. I can't imagine, and I'm kind of tired of the Batman properties without Batman in them. I think for me personally, The Joker was a fine movie, but I don't love that movie. That movie isn't a Joker movie. People love to call that guy the Joker, and I'm just like, that's not the Joker. That's my personal take. I think it's a beautiful movie, but it's not the Joker. They basically took Arthur Fleck, they made a story, they wrote a film, and then they just slapped Joker on it, and then everybody went nuts, and everybody thought, everybody goes crazy because it says the Joker. So everybody thinks they got the Joker movie, but it's not the Joker. He's not the Joker. He's Arthur Fleck. He has nothing to do with the Joker. And the Waynes and all that stuff, like that was in there as Easter eggs, but like that's not the Joker. So that's how I feel. Might be a hot take, but that ain't the Joker. So yeah, that's my take on the Joker, I guess. Well, guys, that'll be the rundown for all the DC news that happened this week. I wanted to get this out there to hear what you guys think because I know you guys love DC and you love talking DC in the comments. So you guys got to let me know what you think of all this news. Are you excited for Kyle Chandler? Are you excited for the dynamic duo animated film that's coming out? That sounds actually really cool, and that's actually piqued my interest. And I really can't wait to see how that all develops. And the Lantern series seems like it's coming together really well. Also, we have Supergirl that's being written and that's going to go into production, I think sometime in like the first quarter of 2025. I think they're going to start shooting that. So we're gonna start getting set photos for that too. The DC Studios is pushing straight ahead, and we have Creature Commandos coming at the end of the year. I think, what is it, next month? I think it's next month. I'll see you guys next week for another DCU update, and obviously we'll do a Marvel update too. I want to get that, and a bunch of other things. We'll be reviewing movies on the channel. Still gotta go see Transformers 1 and all sorts of other movies that I gotta check up on. I want to see Saturday Night. That movie also looks very good. I will definitely get a review up for that when I see it. Joker 2, I don't even really want to see it. If you guys are interested and want to watch more, check out this video right here where I talk to you more about James Gunn's Superman and let you know why I think you should be excited for it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.